Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your monthly reading. So let's see what is going to show up for you. My apologies in advance. This is extremely like pulling teeth for me this time around, given that I knew that I'm an empath, but I didn't know that I'm to this extent, that I'm literally almost like a walking tower for people's emotions, and it's just making me very emotional. So I know that you guys are also big empaths yourselves, and it could be that you're experiencing something similar. If so, I would like to hear from you, and I would like to know how you're coping with that. I'm also trying to organize some sort of a fire chat. Let's get together and support each other, because this is not going to get any better in any short period of time. They're saying 10 weeks. So which would brings us to the middle of June, when we can actually feel and breathe better. So until then, let's start your reading. So you have the Hermit reversed. You are hating it. You're absolutely hating this isolation. You look at this, you have the 2 nines in short order over here, and both of them reversed. Hermit is basically something that you conscientiously decide to kind of like go with. You're deciding to isolate yourself, but this seems to be kind of like something that has been forced upon you, that you have been saddled with, and you're like going, I don't know about that, I don't know how I feel about that. In fact, you're almost like hesitant, you're almost hating it. You kind of like feel constrained in a situation. And feeling constrained for the signs such as yours, and fixed signs in particular, is really difficult, because we kind of have these prongs. Just think about it like when you're setting the tent up. The tent has to have all these prongs in order for it to be held properly. But if you don't have it, what do we do? Kind of a thing. It just doesn't feel right, and we don't have anything firm to hold on to. You also have 2 of Fire. The 2 of Fire is reversed. So 2 of Fire is this beautiful card of, adventure. Where do I go? How do I go from here? Oh my gosh, what is waiting out there for me? There's like no fear here. There's just anticipation. This, when it reverses, it could actually talk, well, maybe you're returning back from some kind of adventure. Maybe this whole kind of a thing where we are all kind of like being forced to be, I guess, constrained, is kind of like maybe a time that you feel, okay, I have to do it, but I am not doing this on my own terms, right? I'm not doing this how I would like it to do it. So hence you have, I guess, completely different things. And then you're crossing this with the Sky Kitten. So I really think, and I guess that could be the issue so far in air, your method of expression is water. And water is when you just need to hug somebody, and you hug them, and you feel them, and you know that everything is okay. It's kind of that invisible, energetic connection, heart to heart. This really tells me that this shift where you need to communicate those and verbalize those feelings, which you can say so much. Because how they say the picture says thousands of words. Well, touch says millions of words, right? You can just how you hold it, how long. It's kind of like something that cannot be thought. You can't learn that. And to some signs like yours, this comes really naturally. So here you are almost like getting here, possibly in a verbal kind of like jousts with people where you feel, oh my god, like I'm getting in trouble. It's simply a fish out of water, if you really want my opinion. And you're having Stars card. I really like this card. This is my favorite card. It really talks about this eternal hope. If we don't have hope, we have nothing. And here is this kitty looking at this lion and looking, how do I get there? How do I hope for it? Because this is almost the description of who humans are. Like if we didn't have that vision, and like maybe one person can dreams that are this high, but the other person has this high, and each and every time we are jumping a notch up, and we are kind of going in that direction, which is extremely important. So this is kind of like your ground. There is like a level of hopefulness. There is a level of where do I go from here, and both of these cards are air. This is both of the cards are telling me you're going forward, you're looking upward. It's onward and upward kind of a thing for you. You are not panicking. If you are panicking, if something is coming back, maybe you have somebody in your life who is moving forward, moving backward. Maybe there are some kind of shifts happening in your life, but nonetheless you're extremely optimistic, and this is really lovely in spite of what you have been saddled with. You have the cat in the past, the Fool card, right? Look at this. The kitty is going through this beautiful garden and smelling all this beautiful lavender and plants, and for cats and dogs, this gives them the world, right? Like, I mean, they live for it. They can go and smell it. Well, if it's urine, even better, right? But seriously, for you, you took some leap of faith. You trusted someone. You believed yourself that you really want to go forward with some kind of process. There's like something over here that you really wanted to initiate, and this initiation, it happened, but it's just initiation. I can see you going from 0 to 2, right? So that means you're actually still not in the kind of like motion phase, so we will see why. And you have Demon Cat. Now, that can say lots of things. First of all, this is the dark side of the Lover's card, right? It's very similar in this deck. It's pretty kind of like stark. The birdie is dead, and Kitty is very, very happy about what has happened here. But this is ultimately a 6 card, and 6 card is about love, and it's about that dark side of love. And dark side of love can be very controlling. That dark side of love can be where we really want to end, right? So Demon Cat is truly talking about possibly you're having somebody from your past, because you can talk about a third party. Maybe you have somebody from the past reaching out and trying to deal with some circumstance or some, you know, issue that maybe has been brewing for a while. It might be coming to the fore for one reason, because I can see this process starting and then somebody's pushing. So look at the contrast that we have. One is looking down. It's almost like looking to the underground, and this is looking to the upper world. So it almost looks like you're being pressured. There's like you're being suppressed, you're being congested, you're being put in some kind of box. But look at this, there are 3 majors. And like you're being protected. You're not going back in the past. You're not going to the same issues all over again. And that's why you're a little bit of fish out of water, not really knowing how to handle all of that. And handle is going to be, you'll be tired from time to time. Look at this field of lavender, and I really think the message here, it's also health message, that you need to get lots of rest. Rest is helping you heal. Rest is keeping your immune system function properly. But this is like that number 4, and 4 is always about stabilization and control of the situation. Your card, death card number 13, is also 4. 1 and 3 makes 4. So hence this is kind of a message to yourself. Remember how I said the only action starts at the level 3 in tarot, but this is already 4. And because in level 3 we just jump out of the gate, and then like after that sprint we are tired, and that's how we are learning. We need to pace ourselves, and then we keep trying and trying until we finally succeed, right? So, and then I have like this 2 of Hearts. So see, we're having 2 twos, which is really telling me that the situation for you, the self-isolation, is going to be also a phase. Like you have lots of air, mind you. The other side of Demon Cat or the Devil, this one is earth, the other one is air, right? So there is like this uplift, and now this is like grounding, like as a saying, going in the underground for you. So you're juggling lots of things right now. Lots of things on your mind, lots of things are going, but this also can mean that somebody is juggling over here in the situation. Maybe somebody is just disconnected, maybe somebody is not calling, or maybe somebody just like is fearless and maybe even demanding around the clock, I want this, I want that, and this person really shouldn't have any quote-unquote rights to do that. You might be dealing with somebody trying to interfere in your relationship as well, and maybe this is why I just like want to curl up and say, F it, I just need to be left alone. I just really need to do it. My advice is, if that's what you feel you need, just do it. I really don't care about your work schedule, and this is really what is needed. That's what I'm doing with all this empathy and sort of like the energy that comes my way, where I feel like crying, where I feel this. I said, okay, I need to channel this. I need to kind of get that through my system, and this is really difficult for all of us, but you might be dealing with the same thing. Things are just thrown at you, and that's possibly also because you're a fixed sign, because people know that you can handle things, and off you go. But you shouldn't be handling everything for everybody. Number one is that you need to take care of yourself and ensure that you're strong and you're going through a situation, and only then you should be kind of like allowing the other people and other things to be put on your plate. So this is, interestingly, in your environment, you're getting cat magic, the magician over here. Somebody might be having some kind of powers, because look at how this is connecting to that past. You're going from that 0 to 1. Right? So that was the missing link, because we had these links, and it almost looks like you're continuously kind of like having this 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. And I really think, because these are majors, this could be lasting for a while at this stage. Maybe you have been in some kind of like 3-party situation, which doesn't have to necessarily be that somebody has 2 people. It could be, though, because I'm seeing 2 cards, not 1 but 2, but somebody is really hopeful that there's going to be a way out of the situation. But I can clearly see that somebody's pulling the strings or trying to pull the strings, and they actually do have lots of influence. They really know how to push those buttons, with the magician card showing up here. So your hopes and fears, you have 10 of fire. So look at that, we have finally on 10, and like the 0 and 10 are mirroring. So 10 is like 0 plus that 1 that we see here. So at this stage, it's like poop hit the fan. Everybody each to their own. So this simply could mean that you understand that you're going through some kind of tricky situation, which is so tricky that there's like nothing else to do other than, you know, Elvis has left the building kind of a thing, right? You need to withdraw yourself. You need to go back to where you are. You don't need to react right away. You can take time to kind of conclude what you need. Maybe you'll be going through this period of time having some sharp arguments. Some words will be told, and there is like somebody in your life who is not necessarily mincing their words. You might be dealing with air sign over here, or you might be dealing with earth sign over here. If you're dealing with earth sign, it could be just full-on combat, right? If you're dealing with earth sign, that can be a little controlling over here. It could be lots of demands, including demands for money. And finally, what I have here is 6 of C. So we are having like these 2 6s in the crown. Like 15 is 1 and 5 is, right, 6. And this one here is about memories. This one here, the 6 of C, is about things from the past. It's almost like that you're coming to your little cocoon and you're saying, oh my God, in the past all of that worked, and why can't that work right now? You're having these infusions in your head, wondering how they are going and how they are doing, right? That's really interesting. But it kind of like maybe also means that you're retracting or retrieving your memories, and that's the safe place where you feel it. There is a clearly, I'll be honest with you, some sense of loss. somewhere, or somebody is like so harsh in this whole situation. So I want to see this demon cat, what is really showing, that it's kind of like at times really difficult for you to deal with this, because look, it's telling you really simply, somebody is thinking they're like a gift given to you, like God's, what do you call it, like I am, you know, God's gift to you. No, they're not. This gift card over here, you have conversation and gift, is reversed. In fact, realization of that, for some reason you really want someone, I can see that, but it's also going to be realization, you really don't need them. There's going to be something for you that is going to come and save your behind for something. This is called consolation, and you can see the angel coming up, not only with the powers, not only with this, like, I mean, what do you call it, man, what is this called, the crown, the bay leaf stuff that they do on it, right, and with the money. So it simply kind of like really talks about something that is undeserved. But is it? It's something that you already have dreamed with, and you have positioned it in the future. So somebody really doesn't have those powers that they really think they do. They simply are willing to say they do, but hey, they really need to think. They really need to think again. I actually want to see this card here as well, the Stand of Fire, because Stand of Fire can also talk about secrets and something coming to the surface. Yes, something stolen. Maybe you have somebody in life who was not necessarily on par, who was maybe doing things to undermine, to deal with issues. Look at this thief and money. Woo, what can go wrong with this? To me, these two cards always connect, because look where he is heading. Isn't he connecting to that safe, to this room? Yeah, I really feel this is exactly the situation where we are at. So be careful if you might have some kind of financial issues, something that you are not prepared for. But this is falling in your basically group of hopes and fears, and when it does it, it means that you both are hopeful, which is really, really good, which it sees that you kind of have a plan, which is really, really important. When we have a plan, we become, what I call it, bigger than our problems. What does it mean? That means that we know, well, I just have to go through these steps in order to get there, right? In spite of the issues that are arousing over here. You might be actually counting on someone, and that somebody is just not going to be there. So that's what you need to kind of keep in mind. I have pulled one more card for you, and this card is Recovery. And to give you like really quick story over here is that, you know, this lady over here is deciding to reminisce, and we can see this reminiscing over here as well, that it's showing up in your reading, this proverbial Six of Cups. And we see twice here, there is like this thing to be a tiger, and I just finished watching the series, The Tiger King, right? And here we see a lion, both of them having this very strong big cats as an example, or where you want to go. And that's what similarly happens when we go and back in your childhood memories, because we kind of keep thinking, this is what I wanted for myself, so where did I take the wrong turn, or what happened, or sometimes even feeling mad or sad that somebody took us from this path and just simply took something away from us, right? And that could be something you are really deeply experiencing and going through, and hence you need to cocoon. The story is that she just came to her old childhood room, and by looking at things that were there, she started to feel overwhelmed with emotion, right? And she noticed this big door, and that she noticed that basically there is a light coming through it, but at the same time she was not as much as intrigued with the door to see what is behind it, as much as still picking up the items in her childhood room. In any case, it was a time to go, so she's doing this last kind of like check of everything in there. But as she's doing that, she just gets this overwhelming anxiety and fear that then kind of like engulfs around her like a snake, right? And she's just trying to shake it off. She's kind of closing her eyes, and poof, the key appears. And all of these fears are now in this form of this key. So she's trying to lift this key that is really, really big. It represents everything she has ever experienced and hurt and dealt with in her life. And she's putting this key in the lock. And she again gets this panic attack. It's freezing. There is something just trying to open it and you can't. But then she grins her teeth. She's Scorpio must be, and poof, the door opens. The light comes there. There is this disinfectant, and guess what? Clarity comes. She doesn't think about survival anymore. There must be something else. So there is like something over here, guys, that you need to claim, I feel, because once when you use that key to open the door, you will have a completely new way of living. So what is that you're fearing to lose behind? What are you fearing to leave behind? What do you feel somebody will take away from you? Because it's telling me that these fears, and this possibly also could represent the fear, you're having a fear of somebody cheating on you. You're having a fear of not reaching this happiness. You are looking in the future by looking in the past. I want the future the way it was in the past. The future goes in that direction and the past goes in this direction. And aren't you realizing why this confusion is happening over here? You guys need to face your fears. You know, it's courage to face pain. I don't really have to tell you. You guys are the sign of Phoenix. You need to spread your wings and you need to get out of these ashes all over again. This is about regeneration and this is about understanding. This is, guys, the Death card in this particular deck. It is really calling for you. So my dear Scorpio, fear not. Just work through your things and do not allow other people to take your wind away. You are who you are. You need to stay hopeful even though this seems to be buried under tons of bricks. But you know what? Without this, you have nothing. That's what I said. This most likely is the best card in the deck. So star means dreaming, means hoping, means things will get better, means do not go in the past, go in the future. You are like a little bit torn between these timelines. So I love you, Scorpio. If any of that is helpful or you think I need to elaborate this a little bit more based on your own basically vibrations, contact me at cattarot.ca or send me an email at mysticcattaro@gmail.com because I'm transferring my website as well and I don't know if I will experience any shortages. And anyhow, it's all in the description. Thank you guys, love you, and until the next time, all the best.